This is Bob Rivers. April 28, 2008, Eric Corman and I flew to Senegal in Africa, where 1,000 children were waiting to meet us in hopes of being sponsored by World Vision. We brought with us a portable satellite transmitter so that we could be on the air live with our show back home.
Eric just looked at the thermometer. It says 125.5 degrees. I believe at least 124.5 of that.
Man.
It is hot. Unfortunately for us, the only place this satellite uplink will work is, you guessed it,
right in the sun.
The heat of the sun, because we have to see the sky.
You've just met Falou, your sponsored boy. What do you think?
Falou was shy and nervous. We tried to break the ice by playing a little of what I call hat frisbee with him, and I think that helped a little. But he was just so overwhelmed, and his family. There's 5, 6 of them that live in that one little room. After a while, the real prize, the real reward, was at the end when we were saying goodbye, and he had let loose and actually broke out in a smile.
Kodu is 4 years old, just cute as a button, and she was there with her mom and her dad. They live in about a 10 by 12 foot concrete cinder block shack. Dad has a job. He works in agriculture. We had some gifts for the little girl, and then Dad did something that sort of blew me away. He held her out to me and said, "Here, you hold her," and picked this girl up into my arms and give her a hug. It was the most wonderful thing. I probably have 10 favorite things, not 1 or 2. We were visiting a kids club outside an elementary school built by World Vision and staffed by World Vision volunteers. The school children formed what they call the Circle of Peace. They began singing a song, and while they did it, they started making up lyrics about Bob, my wife, about Eric, about KZOK, and they also mentioned Seattle, Washington. I hate to say this, but I did end up having to rescue Bob. There was a tree that he was leaning against when making the last report that unfortunately was covered with ants that were the size of your pinky finger. I never thought I would say this, but it will be, in a way, very hard to leave. All of the things we did all of the time, especially with the children, seems way too short. So, final report, getting ready to head back to Seattle from Senegal, Africa, Bob and Eric with World Vision.
Today's the day. We want you to sponsor a child in our village. And when I say our village, it really is our village. Because you can go to our website, you can look at me and Eric, swarmed by all of these cute kids, and you can know that those are the kids. It's this village that we are sponsoring, which means that even though you may not meet them in person like we did, we have met them in person. And we'll be happy to meet you in person and tell you about it. Krista in Bellevue.
I've been listening to you all week. I'm about to go into a meeting in Bellevue, and I'm like crying because of all this great work that you guys have done. And I just would encourage anybody who, do it.
Hey, I just sponsored one of your children. I got somebody about the age of my grandson, 9 or 10, and I just wanted to say thank you.
One of the performers, Modibo, is here with us now, and he's going to serenade you while you call.
You won't be able to hear the music unless you're dialing.
Yes, please, everybody call. Pick up the phone and call. So I'm going to sing a little song for Senegal.
Lena in Renton, hello.
Hello.
Why did you sponsor a child?
I sponsored a child because it's easier than finding a husband and having one of my own.
Smarter, too.
Rod in Sultan.
Good morning. My wife and I just sponsored a 7-year-old boy. His name is Nabu.
Craig Terrell. Craig, thank you for your help in bolstering the charitable angle today with the World Vision. Really appreciate that, too.
Absolutely. I commend you guys. You guys are doing great work.
I just did 4.
4?
Wow.
I just wanted to thank you guys for doing this. My wife, Stephanie, and I guess we have a little 7-year-old boy named Abdu.
Yes, I got a little boy. I've never had children. I'm 47, and this is my Mother's Day my Mother's Day present to myself.
Uh-oh, now I'm going to cry.
Yeah, here we all go.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's phenomenal to hear that I can impact somebody's life for the price of a donut. You know, it's phenomenal.
Oh, I love it.
You got it.
Oh, now that you put it that way, I ought to get a dozen kids.
Yeah, here we go. Today's report has KZOK at a total of 1,019 sponsors.
That's not amazing.
Bob Rivers Show listeners today sponsor well over 2,500 children. Over $1 million a year ongoing committed to transform the lives of people that they've never met. They write to each other. They share their stories with us sometimes too. The big surprise in doing all of this, it's how our own lives have been changed and how good we feel knowing that we're making a real difference in the world.
Welcome back, everyone. You often hear about celebrities adopting children. Madonna has a few kids, and of course, Brad and Angelina have a few children as well that they've adopted. How about this? Bob Rivers from KZOK adopting 1,000 kids. Michael King has his story.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Live in our studio, drummer Hal Blaine with Mike Huckabee on bass.
Yeah, he did say one-time presidential candidate Mike Huckabee on bass. And the guy on the drums there, Hal Blaine, played for the Beach Boys, Sinatra, and Elvis. Just another morning on the Bob Rivers Show. Bob hangs with some heavy hitters, and he makes his money with his mouth.
That's the legendary Hal Blaine playing on a little more, or a little less conversation. I prefer more.
But on a recent trip to Africa, the people Bob's about to meet will leave even him at a loss for words. Bob and his wife Lisa sponsored 2 kids in Senegal through World Vision. They get to meet both.
Some of us say, well, it's some kid in Africa. I'm sending some money, and, you know, I guess it's a real kid. I guess they really, you know, but maybe they just, you know, like it's the Russian brides. Maybe they just have a bunch of pictures.
But when Bob actually sees 6-year-old Falou, the pictures come to life.
How's it going? He was sort of freaked out and couldn't speak. And we tried to talk a little, and he was just like, whoa, this is too much.
He's also happy to meet you.
They give Falou a Frisbee, which seems to break the ice.
And my wife, Lisa, said, go outside and play Frisbee.
Ready? Driving away from Falou's home on the bumpy African roads, Bob reflects.
The real prize, the real reward was at the end when we were saying goodbye, and he had let loose and actually broke out in a smile.
Casey does the news and noticed a new Bob right away.
Like when he would call in during the show, you could hear the difference within 2 days of him being there. I mean, he immediately sounded comfortable and relaxed, and you could really tell he was taking it all in.
Nobody takes it all in more than Eric Corman. Not only is he an outstanding tribal dancer, he's a big reason Bob went to Africa.
He said, you know what, if Paris Hilton can go to Rwanda, I can go to Rwanda. So I held him to it.
Eric is the director of Bob's show. He'd been to Africa a couple times before and was planning the trip to Senegal.
The power of radio is astounding, and how you can touch people's lives and bring them with you to wherever you are in the world and help them care about another continent.
Radio hosts, and morning radio jocks in particular, have kind of a mysterious power, a hold over their loyal audience. And that can be used for good or for evil. In this case, definitely used for good.
In a couple of years we've been doing this, we have close to 2,500 kids that are sponsored by our audience, and it's about $1 million a year commitment. I am completely blown away by that, and I'm grateful to the audience for coming along with us and trusting us.
Bob will never forget the culture, the warmth, the poverty, but most of all, the people will stay with him forever, like the other child he sponsors, 4-year-old Kodu.
And her father did something amazing. Her father took her and said, here.
Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about it, and I just held this little girl, and my wife Lisa had given her a teddy bear, and she clutched this little teddy bear, and her father stood there smiling, and he said, we all thank you.
Bob has since made his way back to Seattle, doing his thing, hobnobbing with the powerful.
Now, you did something phenomenal while you were the governor of Arkansas.
But even though he returned to the same studio, the same microphone, the same song and dance,
Quick, everybody hit one note. It's perfect.
everything looks different after Africa.
The Africa experience at various times reminded me that every single human spirit is equal.